All right. We're actually live now that I turned the microphone on. Cool. Well, I'll clean my potty mouth up. After that, we're going to do open mic. Allie, why'd you take it off? You messed with my agenda. So we'll do the talk, the competition. Then we're going to have the lockpicking village here for every meetup because it seems to be, generating a lot of interest and, general networking to follow. Like I said, we'll do open mic night, every meetup. If someone wants to talk about really anything, kind of, if you're familiar with Toastmasters, I've never been there, but apparently it's pretty, it's a place you go to learn how to talk to people. So with that, I guess, Icarus, you ready? I have your slides up here, so I'll just switch to that. And yeah, there's the mouse. Your camera's off. The audio's live though.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, we'll just jump into it. So I originally wrote this a couple years ago for B-Side Salt Lake City. We were trying to come up with ideas for people who have a hard time with like technical talks, because it seems like nowadays you go to any conference and it's all technical talks, and that gets kind of old really fast. Because there's a lot of other aspects to the career development. You have to have the social skills, you have to have development, you have to have a career path even, or figure out ways to get into the career field in the first place. So it got me thinking, well, what was my journey like? How did I get there? And really help other people do somewhat similar things. Again, this isn't you should go sell mattresses and then get into this. It's this was how I kind of got through all of it. So starting off, who am I? My name is Chris Hansen. Not that one. Icarus, if you want to go by that one. Avid Twitter fanatic. I spend way too much time following Elon and his problems. And I watch way too much hockey and go to way too many hockey games. So if you ever want to hear, quick tirades or whatever, just go ahead and bring up a hockey team and I'll not listen. So yeah, again, what this is about, really just making sure that people can get into the industry. The hardest part is anyone who's trying to get started. Where do you start? It's an ocean. There's so many different acronyms. There's so many different teams. There's so many different businesses. Like, where exactly do you start? Where do you do? What do you do? How do you get into it? Who do you follow? So we'll kind of cover some of that stuff just to make it a little bit easier. And really, my big thing is like, find what makes you happy in the industry. If you're not a person who likes, I am not a red teamer by any means. I'm not like, I don't love hacking into domain controllers and all that. It's not really something that excites me. I do like doing incident response and stop hackers from doing that kind of stuff. So that's more appealing to me. And so I kind of went that route. If you like dealing with insider risk, people doing shady stuff and trying to steal secrets or whatever, there's avenues for all of this stuff. And again, you'll kind of learn where all of that goes. Absolutely.
It's not streaming. They can hear you, but they can't see you or see the slides.
That's okay. They didn't need to see anything.
I don't know why. Share your entire screen. What do you mean? Oh, the slides?
Yes.
Slideshow.
Not too fancy for me. So again, who does this apply to? Originally, like I said, we were gearing this towards a conference talk of like, hey, we just wanted something that wasn't a technical talk because they just get old. But at the end of the day, like, this is for people who are trying to change careers. So if you're just trying to switch into cyber or get into cyber, you're already an IT person, you want to just make the jump. If you're, my buddy does HVAC and he's making the jump right now. That again, you can absolutely do it, and there's jobs that are out there for you. So it applies to those people. People who love challenges. I don't know if you guys know this, but cybersecurity in general is pretty much just like playing video games in the sense of like solving problems and figuring things out. So if that's kind of your personality of like, I like figuring out the problem or building things or reversing things. That's right up your alley. And then people who love safety and security, or quite literally the opposite. If you like not being safe and secure, letting people know that they're not safe and secure, there is a perfect place for you. So all in all, it's for everyone. Like everyone should feel like this is going to apply to them in some way, shape, or form. Again, you may not think it's a technical talk. There's nothing to pull from it. Yeah, that's up to you. You can take a nap and wake up for lockpicking. My story comes with all of this. So I moved across state I went from a middle of nowhere city to another middle of nowhere city. And I wanted to figure out what the best jobs in the area were. So I ended up selling mattresses because that made a lot of money. I had the social skills, managerial skills, so I could manage people, and started managing, traveling all over, doing all that stuff. Made really good money doing it because I don't know if you guys know the rumors, but mattress sales is actually just like money laundering. So like there's a lot of money to be had. And then this one is the big one. The sobering realization that I did not want to do that the rest of my life. Like, it's not a job that people aspire. Like you can't go to a school with, your child on bring your parent to school day and be like, I'm a mattress salesman and everyone's really into it. That's just not something that happens. So that was part of it. And there were weeks, like any sales job, you have weeks where you don't even see people, you don't talk to people, you don't interact with people. And so you kind of go insane. So then you start finding other things to do, which is kind of how I got into all this. So yeah, let's talk specs. One of the reasons why I think mattress salesmen are really good at cybersecurity is because we can remember every single specification in every single mattress. If there's 900 mattresses in that store, I know every single one of them. Makes it great when you're trying to tell people like, hey, what's the difference between one domain controller and another? Haha, I have no idea. But, I think every job in reality has that background. If you're a veterinarian, you have the soft skills to work with people. If you're a firefighter, you know how to deal with critical and intense situations. Every job outside of tech still relates back to cybersecurity and tech in the long run. And after a long period of time, I sat down and kind of just, like I said, I would sit there for weeks and not see a person. I had long days, like 12-hour days of not seeing people for 3 weeks straight. And so I started watching all of these DEF CON and Black Hat talks. And I'm like, this stuff's kind of cool. And then started going, who knows who Sammy Kamkar is? Okay, there's a couple of hands. You don't know who he is? No. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, we can get into that. So he's the guy who did the MySpace hack. Who was around for MySpace? I wasn't. So. Oh, there you go. So he did the MySpace hack. Not actually how I found him. I found him from his what is it? 8-second garage hack video where he actually takes a child's toy, like a little texting toy, and turns it into a bash scripting garage door opener where he can open any garage door in the world in under 8 seconds. Not promoting that or anything, but it's kind of cool. So I got into that, started watching that, and then it kind of spiraled from there. Realizing that there is a ton of stuff out there on the internet that you can follow, learn, and develop, and just really, again, build and do what you like to do in the industry. And that kind of made it. So why does any of this matter? I'm sitting up here just rambling about why people make the career change or whatever. My thought process again is don't settle. If you're in a job that you don't love, even in the industry, move on. There's way too many jobs. There's way too many things. There's too many interests. Move on to the next thing. Do what makes you happy. Because again, I sat at that job for a long time selling mattresses and realizing this sucks. I'm wasting away my life. I had 70, 80-hour weeks. I didn't see any friends. I didn't see family because I was just too busy working. And even though the paycheck was good, like, didn't matter. Like, what am I going to spend my money on? Like, food, sitting in a building all by myself doing nothing, you know? Like, at the end of the day, you need to be happy for yourself, and getting into the right career field, getting into something that you enjoy is going to make a bigger difference for you. Always seek for answers. Again, this is all about puzzle solving, and it's just a giant video game. Like, if you're into that, you're going to find it, you're going to love it. Anyone can transition in the industry. Again, circling back to, I think there really is a spot for anyone in the industry. Retail, you know, knowing how a POS system works and knowing how the computer system works in general. Fun fact for you, Walmart tries to hire internally from teller positions to do their security operation positions, because they know the people are attentive and know the system better than anyone else. They also found that it saved them a lot of money because they had people who were happier with their jobs. And then they also went on to create a purple team culture with it. They have a red team. They have a really good red team, if you didn't know. They have a really good blue team, but they do cross training. So you'll do 6 months in red and then 6 months in blue, and you do that every year, back and forth. Again, creating a culture of, I want to solve a problem, I want to learn, I want to advance, and don't settle. Like, if you don't like your teller job, you can move up. And again, this all starts with you. You can't do anything if you're just, you know, I can tell you all the steps to get a job in the industry. I can, again, the way that I did it or the way that I've helped other people get jobs in the industry. But if it doesn't matter to you, if you're not going to take any of it, then that's all up to you. This is the big one. So here's a bunch of the resources. Again, I sat there for like 60, 70-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks. I found a lot of resources. I've got like tons and tons of, I know there's people that have seen a lot of resources I send, but I DEF CON, Black Hat, St. Con, Open West. I've got a bunch of stuff that they don't even stream anymore because people love sharing archives if you ask. There's so much stuff on YouTube, a lot of trainings that people don't realize and how good the trainings are. There's a bunch of people out there like DC Cyber. Not my favorite anymore because he's kind of gone more like, he owns his own company and he's kind of preachy about that. But Cyber Mentor is fantastic. Cytonic is fantastic. There's a bunch of different cybersecurity resources out there. If you want a list, I've got like tons I can give out. Podcasts. Who here listens to Dark Debt Diaries?
I started from episode 1.
Yeah, and you should. Like, it's fantastic. It's great for learning. It's great. That's how I got my buddy into cybersecurity. He loves podcasts and he loves listening to them. And I'm like, hey, listen to this because he'll explain way better than I can. Shocker. He's super interested and he switched career fields. So again, like, there's that, and there's tons of good podcasts out there. Even companies are putting out ones now. Fortinet. They're actually like featuring a ton of really big name hackers and cybersecurity people, and they're coming out with some really cool stuff. So again, check them out. Service. We post a lot in the Discord, but we post a lot of like free classes and free certifications. One of the things that I didn't really hit on earlier is I made the jump into all of this without a degree and without any training. I figured this all out from YouTube and doing random free cybersecurity classes that were out there. And that's why I think anyone can do it. You don't need to have a fancy degree. Do I recommend a degree? Yeah, it'll help you a lot. Like, there's a lot of places that straight up are just like, they won't even talk to you if you don't have a degree. It helps. Do I think everyone needs it? Not necessarily. I think there's a lot of soft skills that are involved as well. I think if you also have that experience from another job, it translates very well. Experience goes in a lot of different ways that people don't realize. So again, the certs and classes, we post a lot of them. I still have a lot on the back burner that I haven't posted because I don't want to like freak people out. But there's literally classes every day from red team, blue team, anything DFIR, so digital forensics and incident response. There's even like AWS classes that they just posted recently for free that are like, they were like $2,000 or $3,000 classes. Like, okay, like get what you can take. A lot of people will throw out these free classes. And the last thing is networking. I definitely would not have gotten as far in my career if I didn't network and go to events like this or go to I moved across the country for this job. So this is not my first DEF CON group, but going to my DEF CON groups and getting acquainted with the people there, volunteering for conferences, getting involved in the community around you, because those people are going to take care of you as you take care of them. There's the local CRT team for Wisconsin. They're looking for people right now. And if you want to learn about incident response or do incident response, guess what? That's a perfect place to start. You don't even need to have any training. They'll train you for free. Awesome. Again, free training. So really, at the end of the day, like, get out there, be more active, and just, let people know that you're interested and you actually care. And that's pretty much it. So any questions, concerns? Yeah.
Why didn't you close your parentheses?
You know how I said I didn't get a degree? I never said I was a smart man either. Like Chat GPT. I don't know. So
How long were you a mattress salesman?
So I did mattress sales for a year and a half. My credentials are I was the nation's #1 salesman for 13 months running. I traveled all over, like went to Georgia, Texas. They even had me open a location up in Canada. That was like a big deal.
Was it a store that all they sold was mattresses?
Mattress Firm.
Mattress Firm. Okay.
Mattress Firm is the company. Yep. I joked about the money laundering thing, but actually there was a couple of years back where there was like a full-on headline like Mattress Firm is money laundering. You've never seen anyone in there. They're kind of true, but
I didn't see that.
yeah, that was a thing.
How would they launder money?
You put it into the mattresses. So yeah,
That's still the money's still dirty if it's in the mattress.
yeah. So, any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk about so you watched a lot of YouTube videos, you listened to a lot of podcasts that your job where you did to see people for 7 hours a week. And then breaking into the cybersecurity job that you have now, what kind of things did they ask you at the interview? How did you prepare, like, to prove to them that you know anything?
So
anybody can watch videos
and learn and
speak the language,
yeah.
so to speak, but how did they test you?
So they didn't. I fell into my first position. If I'm being completely so long story short, I was fed up with being the mattress salesman. I had a bunch of experience. I did go to school to like get started in all of this. And then they sent me this thing being like, hey, we need volunteers for Black Hat. So I signed up. I lived in like Salt Lake area, got in my car, drove to Vegas without a job. I literally quit like the day before because I was like, I'm just done. Like I'm going on this. I'm going to do Black Hat. I don't even know what this conference, like I've seen some videos, but I don't know what the conference actually is. And at the end of it, like I'll come back and start job looking at that point. I met a guy out there. We got along really well. I showed him, he asked me some questions about PowerShell. I showed him how to write a script for something that he was working on for work. I didn't know he worked for FireEye. And then he was like, hey, I got a buddy who's looking for someone like you. I was like, oh, okay, cool, because I don't have a job. And so then I got placed with that guy. So with I wasn't making good money. I was making like $10 an hour. Like the agreement was, hey, I don't technically have the experience, and you need someone who just can learn and do the job. So it was an agreement of like, I'm definitely taking a pay cut, but he's given me the experience. And I think that's kind of how I navigated that one. How would I do it now, or how I tell my friends to do it? Because I've helped a lot of people get jobs now, not because of this slide deck specifically, but because of a lot of the stuff we've gone through in here. And I tell people 3 things. Passion is the biggest thing. So if you can show that you have passion in it, that's going to outweigh any degree that you have. Because I've had some people who ask me about this, and they've got their degrees and their master's degrees, and they come to me and they're like, hey, give me a really good job. And I'm like, hey, well, what do you do in your spare time? Nothing. Like, sorry, this is not for you then. Like, this is not going to help you. You want someone who's driven and is going to do something and actually cares, comes to events like this, goes to volunteers, goes to conferences, things like that. Number 2 would be home lab. Having a home lab of any sort, even spinning up a Plex server. Shocker, you'd be surprised how many of your colleagues have never done that and don't know how to do it. Because in cybersecurity, unless you're doing infrastructure, you really don't. A lot of these people, again, they're not passionate. They don't go home and do this kind of stuff. So if you can do it, you're a little bit ahead of them. And then 3rd is doing these free courses and these free trainings. I found that I could set up this cadence where I was always learning something new that I'd never done before. And because I was continually learning something new and bringing it into the office and telling people, it got them excited too. And so by doing those free certifications, number 1, it looks good on paper that you've got like 15, 20 certifications. But number 2, like coming in there and having this wide range of things, like from cloud to virtualization to Kubernetes to Elastic, all these different tools that are, again, big buzzword names. It really helps you solidify yourself from someone who just gets the degree and has never touched or looked at any of those. And I've even put 2 resumes in front of my friend. He does hiring for some big cybersecurity group. I put 2 resumes in front of him and I said, which one would you choose? Looked them over. The guy with the degree looked really good. And again, this isn't like degree versus not degree. The guy was not passionate. He just was in it for the money. And it was very evident by the way the degree and the resume was written. The other person had a home lab. You get in a conversation like this and he's sitting there like, hey, I learned this new thing about like honey tokens, or, oh, I just virtualized my first server, or hey, I just did my first domain crack, or whatever. Like, shocker, they kind of like when you actually care and bring new things around. So that's kind of how I would navigate it now, and I tell people to navigate it. Again, there's no right answer, because a lot of companies, you get hit at the resume wall period, and you may not get your resume past that. But again, with doing some of that stuff, having home lab written on your resume and having those certifications and trainings, it should propel you farther than most people. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I have more about the money laundering, but I'll.
Yeah, we can do that offline. Yeah.
How do you think about what limitations can be in your career without a degree?
So yeah, I do think about that a lot. Here, one of the reasons why I haven't gotten one yet is because I'm at the point in my career where my company will pay for one. So I wanted to, that's what I tell a lot of my friends, of like, hey, if you don't have the chops right now, that's fine. Just get your foot in the door. Most companies will pay for you to get your degree. If you don't have yours, you can get a SAN certification, or you could get a year at college. Like, take your pick. You can still get your career grow further down the line. Do I know if that will hinder me or hurt me? I don't know. I do think that there may be some managerial positions that I can't get because I don't have a degree. But at the end of the day, like, if they really just want something on paper, that's also that's a problem for the business. If they don't want someone who actually cares and is passionate and learning, again, not saying that a degree isn't that, but if they're going to say that's their benchmark, that's a problem. I have had issues. I've had many times where actually I had a job offer from a really cool company, and we were like signing the papers, and then they were like, oh, wait, you said you went to college. I was like, yeah. You never said you graduated. I didn't. That is correct. Yeah, good job. You listen. They work. But yeah, that didn't end well. So, but that being said, I ended up with a way better job. So again, blessing in disguise, I guess. So, yeah, it can help and hurt. Again, I'm not saying don't get a degree. I do think it helps. If you're already in school for one, apply these steps. Get those extra certifications. That was the other problem that I saw is if you're looking at person A and B and they both have degrees and neither of them have experience, how are you going to differentiate? Like, who is better than who? Well, I'm going to go for whoever has a certification or something that or a language or something like that. But adding those certifications, no matter what area of aspect you're in, you have a degree or not, it's going to help you look better on paper. So, yeah.
Right. Earlier you said that you have no interest in the red team side of things.
Yes.
Which is, my experience, fairly rare for someone trying to get started out from there.
So,
talk about that.
yeah, I actually have done a lot of red team stuff. I'm ranked really high on try-hack. No,
Not 1%.
yeah, so I'm ranked really high on try-hacking, but like in all reality, like it's not interesting to me. Like I like tinkering with things. We actually talked about it on our way here. We learned about like my last DEF CON group. We would pull apart like the Roombas, and we would learn how like you could, video feed off of a Roomba and like have it on your phone, or we actually learned you could remote access one of the electronic scooters, and you can squeeze the brakes at any speed and remotely. And people still don't fix that stuff. So like I enjoy tinkering and learning those things. I just don't have like the drive to do like pen testing of like, I don't want to go into a business and be like, hey, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to fix. That to me is not interesting. There is some fun aspects to it. Like we have a really cool red team with our company, and they actually build their own tools and run their own scripts, and like they deep dive stuff. That to me is more appealing, but most red team jobs are, hey, you've got like 40 scripts you're allowed to use, and that's about it. You can do some social engineering outside of that, and that to me was just never like exciting. I'd rather stop people who actually are trying to hack, and that just seems more fun.
So what do you do now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm just, yeah. So our title is D4 engineer. So digital forensics incident response. I work directly on the incident response team. So yeah, I stop hackers from getting in and stealing secrets and look at spam tickets all day. So yeah. So yeah. Any other questions?
You'll be here online.
Yeah, I probably won't, but you can always hit me up on Discord, Icarus. If I don't I'm not super like chatty in like the main Discord or whatever, but you can ping me directly. 9 times out of 10, I'm not even at my computer, so I just grab it when I can.
While we have you, do you recommend any specific mattresses?
It's a tough one. Pillows, there's a science to that.
No.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Like I had one guy, who spent like $60,000 on his mattress, and then he ended up getting like these $2,000 or $3,000 pillows, and like life changing, incredible. He bought me one too because he was like, "Oh, you were just so good. Like, give me one of these." I'm like, "Thanks. This is like the best gift I've ever got." You know? So yeah, there is a science to it. What is the best brand? It depends. You know, if you want to talk mattress, I also my side gig is actually helping people find the right mattress. So if you ever want help when you're mattress shopping, I can help you with that. So yeah. I mean, you can sleep on it. We can talk about it later. Yeah, I know. But dude, the mattress jokes were just fantastic. Like, yeah, incredible. So, anyways,
Great.
awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, for the contest? Yeah, I'll stop streaming.
You're not streaming, because
Yeah.